Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica with BCID.
And I'm Jose Hernandez with United Spinal Association. We're going to go over some housekeeping rules. Jessica?
Yes, if you guys have any questions, we ask that you put them in the Q&A section so we can get to them because it gets kind of difficult to keep up with them in the chat box. Anything else, you guys want to talk amongst yourself, you can go ahead and do that. We have our wonderful Mary here, ASL interpreter, and we also have audio. No, I'm sorry. Help me out here. Closed captioning. A link.
Closed captioning. You could also activate the closed captioning by clicking on the closed captioning button at the bottom. And today we have the renowned Jonathon Novick, who hosts all of NMOPD's virtual events.
He's like a powerhouse. So far, I mean, from the beginning of the pandemic, it's just like, you're a great dude.
And he only seems to get better and better.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself and tell everyone that doesn't know who you are about yourself.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Jessica, Jose, greatly appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk about MOPD, what we do, and hopefully answer some questions and continue conversation and engagement if you haven't heard of us before. Can I jump right into the presentation, or do you have anything? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is share a PowerPoint, share my screen. So let's just start by doing that and making sure that everyone is able to still view the accommodations that they need if necessary. If you're unable to view the PowerPoint, or if you're joining us via phone, don't worry, I will be sure to audio describe everything out loud so you don't miss any information. In addition, I can send this to Jose and Jessica to distribute around, so you can have it for your own references. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. So just gonna say, everybody can see this. Jose, Jessica, this looks okay? Wonderful. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Like I said, my name is Jonathon Novick, and I'm the Outreach Manager for the New York City Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. And over the next, I'd say about 45 minutes, I'm going to be presenting a little bit about the services that our office offers, and then opening up to questions. For the purposes of time and continuity, as Jessica and Jose mentioned, please enter your questions into the Q&A feature or hold them till the end. We are happy to share this PowerPoint with everybody in attendance. So as far as note taking goes, that's up to your discretion of how much or how little notes you'd like to take. So we have a PowerPoint background here. In the top left-hand corner is our logo, the New York City Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. In the top right-hand corner, we have an array of accessibility icons: a person with a physical disability, a wheelchair, a person using a mobility cane, Braille, assistive listening system, and American Sign Language interpretation, all of those symbols. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Twitter account, at NYC Disabilities. If you'd like to tweet at us or follow us for more information, please do so, at NYC Disabilities. And finally, we have a lovely New York City skyline background with the title of this presentation, which is called Overview of Direct Programs and Services for the New York City Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. So a little bit of background starting from our office. Our office has been around since 1973. We're originally called the Mayor's Office of the Handicapped. Since then, we have changed names, we have changed elevations, our staff numbers have fluctuated, but principally our office works to ensure equal access to everything that New York City has to offer. During what we call blue skies, which is non-emergency related situations, we typically provide information about transportation, housing, employment, benefits, but also fun things too. Broadway shows, our arts and cultural institutions, our beautiful parks department, and all of the recreational activities and programming that they put on. So we do a lot of things, and we work to provide this information and also provide expertise regarding how our city partners and how individuals that I mentioned can be more accessible and inclusive of people with disabilities. Now, since COVID, that has changed. We're still providing this information, but a lot of our work has shifted into ensuring that the city's pandemic response is accessible and inclusive of people with disabilities. We've done this in a lot of ways. We've had weekly meetings now that have been scaled back to monthly meetings regarding COVID-19 updates for New York City. Actually, tomorrow we have one, tomorrow being February 5th. We have it every Friday not every Friday, the first Friday of every month at 1 p.m. If you're interested in joining us, we would love to have you. I know Jose and Jessica are frequently there. So I'm just going to put this in the chat. You can RSVP for our community call. So we'd love to have you in the conversation. But just as a baseline, the ways that you can get in contact with our office are you can call us with a voice phone at 212-788-2830. That's 212-788-2830. From there, you'll be brought to a directory, and the directory will prompt you to press a button that correlates with a specific service, really information that we can provide you in pointing you in the right direction. And I'm going to go through all of those momentarily. That's how this PowerPoint's actually structured. You also have the option to call us via video phone. If you prefer to communicate in American Sign Language, we have a program called ASL Direct. ASL Direct is an information line that is staffed by 2 members of our office who are fluent in ASL, who can provide information directly about our office, programs and services, and other city services in American Sign Language. It's not relay, it's not TTY, it's not interpretation, it's direct information available in American Sign Language. That video phone number for ASL Direct is 646-396-5830. Once again, that is 646-396-5830. So you can use that phone number to contact our ASL Direct line, and you'll be connected face-to-face with somebody who is fluent in American Sign Language who can provide you resources. And finally, we have our website, nyc.gov/disability. That's nyc.gov/disability. On our website, we have a number of things. We have a tab for our initiatives. If you want to learn more about our programs that come out of our office and programs that we've created with other city agencies that are disability specific, go under initiatives. If you go under resources, you can learn a lot about different resources available in New York City, ranging from housing to transportation, benefits that are available where you can get started in applying. We also have a breakdown for disability specific resources. For example, folks who are blind or low vision, contact for National Federation of the Blind or American Council of the Blind. Folks who are, or Lighthouse, folks who are deaf or hard of hearing, Hearing Loss Association of America, and other resources, and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of good information on our website. I encourage you to check it out. That is nyc.gov/disability. Now, those are the basic ways that you get in contact with our office. If this is the first time that you're seeing me, our office, or hearing about us, this does not need to be the last. You can always reach out to us, and we are happy to provide information, resources, and services the best we are able to do. Now, what kinds of information do we have? Well, principally, our office is an information and referral service. We have some programs that come out of our office, which I'm going to talk about as they come up, but I want to just structure this presentation based around the information that we can provide and the work that we do with these other city agencies. So when you do call our phone number, 212-788-2830, you're directed to the directory will start speaking and give you information. So if you're interested in housing, press 1. So currently on the PowerPoint slide, I have our housing slide. So you call our number 212-788-2830, extension number 1, and you'll be directed to our housing coordinators. If they do not pick up, you can leave a voicemail and they will reach back out to you. You can also visit our disability specific housing webpage at nyc.gov/disability housing. That's nyc.gov/disability housing. So first off, our office provides information. We do not have units available that are operated through our office. What we provide is information regarding accessible housing, supportive housing. We work with HPD for the housing lotteries, for NYCHA and those specific units. So we can assist you in finding accessible housing and getting started in that process, applying for supportive housing, Medicaid waiver programs, the affordable housing set-asides, which if you're not familiar for the affordable housing units, I believe 7% is set aside for people with disabilities. Of that, 5% is for individuals with physical disabilities, specifically modified apartments, and 2% are for individuals who are blind or low vision. Now, this percentage is specifically to be rented by people with disabilities. However, that does not mean that every single unit is accessible or can be made accessible to a person with disability. I forget the specific nomenclature, but basically the units are built in such a way that if there is a person with a physical disability moving in, it is incredibly easy to make modifications to make it more accessible for an individual with a physical disability, to make home feel more like home and less like just an apartment. So that's the affordable housing set-asides. Disability rent freeze and tax exemptions. So programs like DRE and SCREE to not reduce your rent, but to pause the increase of your rent so it no longer goes up. We can assist you with that. In addition to homeless shelter accommodation requests. So this is a baseline, the information that we can provide for housing, but we also work a lot with housing preservation and development. We have worked with them to remediate their housing portal, the Housing Connect online website that you can use for applying for these units. We've made it more accessible, tried to work with them to provide best guidelines for that. We provide information on understanding accessible units, and our housing coordinator, Arthur, is constantly having conversations with HPD and others to increase accessibility for housing and so on and so forth. So that's a brief overview of housing for our office. Next, we have transportation. So to repeat, you call our office 212-788-2830, extension number 2, and you can be connected to our transportation coordinator. So our transportation coordinator can provide you with information regarding MTA reduced fare Metro cards. Quick note, Victor Calisi, the commissioner of our office, is on the MTA board, which is great, which we're very happy. He's currently the only person with a physical disability that is serving on the board, at least a apparent disability, because we don't know who else might. But of course, today there was an announcement made that Quamel Arroyo, a gentleman who is using a wheelchair, is the first, now I forget the specific name. Jose, you're nodding, so maybe you can fill it in, but
I don't know the exact title, but he was taking over for Alex L. Guten.
Right.
I don't have the exact email, but I do want to give a shout out to Edmund, who is the policy analyst, for accessibility at the Department of Transportation, who has joined us.
It says Chief Accessibility Officer at Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
There we go. So having a person with a disability, actively involved in what the MTA is doing, not just Victor, but Quamel is great news, and hopefully we can continue to see more people with disabilities joining in on the conversation, making these decisions so we can expand accessibility into a system that is unfortunately full of barriers due to its, past, due to its history and its age, I suppose. So what you can apply for is the MTA reduced fare Metro card. This is a Metro card that is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Metro card that comes at a reduced fare that you can utilize to, to get discounted swipes and costs for usage of the MTA system. There is Accessoride. I think most people know what this is. Point-to-point paratransit from point A to point B at the cost of a MetroCard swipe, which is currently $2.75. It is worth noting that Accessoride has changed their service where they are not doing pooled rides at the moment due to COVID-19. But if you're interested in applying for this program, we can get you started. So you can either, become a member and book individual trips. You could have a subscription service. So there is, you get picked up at a certain time in the morning and dropped off if you're on your way to work or a doctor's appointment or so on and so forth. So there is Accessoride. And there's also disability parking permits. So disability parking permits, I think everyone is principally familiar, but I want to go a little bit more in detail on the types of disability parking permits that there are. Now there's the state parking permits, which are for municipal parking spaces. These are the blue hang tags that are in, larger parking lots that have those designated blue spaces that are not only generally closer to the entrance of a facility, but also have clearance on both sides in order to provide access for someone's ramp or lift if they need it, if they're in an accessible van or so on and so forth. So that is something that you can apply for, but there's also a separate permit that's specific to New York City, which is the city parking permit. Now, we don't always have those large, expansive parking lots available. There's significant amounts of on-street parking. Now, what a city parking permit would allow you to do is park in spaces that traditional drivers without a parking permit cannot. For example, alternate side parking does not apply to you. Certain no standing zones, there's an expansive list on DOT's website, and Edmund, I'm sure you could chime in. But I will say that for more information, you can visit our website, nyc.gov/disability transportation, or go onto Department of Transportation's website and learn more about those permits and how to get started if you qualify and if you are interested in applying. And then finally, go ahead.
Interrupt you right here before you go into accessible dispatch.
Please.
Because we have one question that pertains to the city parking permit, but I wanted also to add that not only do the blue hangers count for the municipal parking spaces, but the disabled symbol that's on your license plate also qualifies as as the blue hanger. Alternatively, for those who don't have the blue hanger or can't display it relatively easily like I can. So with that being said, I want to ask this question from this person because it, like I said, it pertains to this. It says, my question is as follows. We have a New York City parking permit for the disabled because of our daughter's mobility issues. We keep the permit displayed in the windshield. However, lately we are getting tickets anyway, saying we are parked in an incorrect place and no permit. I fight this and the judge has not overturned the ticket. This has happened several times now, and I feel it's a quick way to raise revenue and it's wrong because we have permit displayed. Can you, shed some light? Or Edmund, I'm going to put you into this because you're directly connected with the DOT. So why would this be happening? It's happened to me as well on 1 or 2 occasions.
So, I mean, I don't have anything expansive to share, unfortunately, but I definitely want to know more about this. If you could send me an email, I'd like to connect you to our transportation coordinator and see how we can dispute this and the steps possible that we can take, and see if this is, Jose, like you're saying, if this is a larger systemic issue that needs to be addressed. That's something we're certainly interested in knowing more about.
It might be a training issue or
Yeah,
something that they don't understand. Like I got one for parking in a sanitation area and it said no permit displayed, but obviously my permit was displayed. And it seemed like the person was just writing tickets across for all the vehicles that were parked there. So this might be a training issue, but who am I to say?
well, we hope it's a training issue and nothing more nefarious. Yeah. I just put my email in the chat, or actually answering the Q&A, Nika. So thank you very much for sharing. So please send me an email at jnovick@cityhall.nyc.gov. So Edmund, I don't know if you have anything additional to add or if we want to just keep going, but thank you for sharing, Nika. And thank you for the clarification, Jose, on the license plate. I think if Edmund wants, we could unmute him, but I'm just gonna do my little turnkey moment that's part of this presentation, which is that we can help you apply for all of these things. And I'll touch on accessible dispatch in a moment, but we're also here to understand when these services don't work out the way that they should.
1 minute, I'm gonna interrupt you again.
Please.
Sorry, Edmund would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Yes, thanks. So what I would say, I think we can definitely look into that. But I missed some part of your comment. Did you say that you were given a ticket whilst you have your permit displayed? Can you hear me?
Yes, that was the question, yeah.
Okay, good. So awesome. Jessica, I was actually typing my email, when I decided to unmute, to get myself unmuted. But what I would encourage you to do is like shoot me an email. I think that it is not fair if you displayed and also like I would encourage you. You have the right to dispute some of these, I would say, tickets that are not right. So something like that might have happened to you. Send me an email. I'm going to type a couple of emails in there. Email. You have my email already, right?
It just came through the chat.
I just displayed
Okay.
it.
Exactly. So we will definitely pursue it. Email me and I will get some folks involved and we'll see how best we can get. Even if you have to be given something to be taken to, the finance, the New York City, Department of Finance, that would be great so that you will get cleared of that. Does that answer?
I think, yeah.
Okay, great.
And
thank you. Thanks for this event.
I just want to make sure it was only shared within the panelists. Can we share that with everybody else who might need it?
The email?
Yeah.
Yes, both emails are coming. I have 2 emails and all of them are coming.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Thank
good.
you.
And I would actually ask if, so sorry.
And you can also email Jonathon. When you email Jonathon, I will get it.
Please, actually, if we could just put us together, just so we're on the same page, I think that would be very helpful.
All right, good.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, yes, so classic case example, when these services don't work, if you are, for example, applying for the MTA reduced fare MetroCard and you're having trouble or it's taking longer, similar with Accessoride in terms of maybe service suspension or renewing your Accessoride or renewing your parking permit or getting a ticket when you feel you wrongfully shouldn't, we want to know about this too. We want to understand when these services aren't working so we can properly reach out to our contacts like Edmund and others to address this issue and make sure it does not happen again. So if you have a less than great experience with Accessoride, if you are ticketed and you shouldn't have been with a disability parking permit, these are the things that we want to know about so we can address them as best we can. And then accessible dispatch. So accessible dispatch is not a subscription service. It's not something you need to apply for. Anyone can use it as short as right now. Accessible dispatch are yellow and green accessible taxi cabs. They're not at any reduced cost, but there are all wheelchair accessible cabs that can take you from point A to point B. Unlike Accessoride, this is not Accessoride. It's not operated by the same folks. Accessible dispatch is yellow and green accessible cabs run through Taxi and Limousine Commission that you can request by either calling 311. You can download the Accessible Dispatch app, or you can go on their website, Accessible Dispatch. I think it's either .org or .com, and book a trip online. So with all of that being said, it costs the same as a taxi ride. It's not $275. It's not reduced. It's from point A to point B, that cost. But you do not need to book it in advance. You can, but you can book it more readily than you might be able to an Accessoride trip. So that's the big difference there with Accessible Dispatch. So to learn more about this and other services, visit nyc.gov/disability transportation, or you can call our office at 212-788-2830, extension number 2. Next, we have social services and benefits. So if you call our office, and I know you're going to get sick of this, but hopefully it ingrains it in your brain, 212-788-2830, extension number 3, you'll be connected to social services and benefits. Now, we're not able to directly work with you hand in hand to apply. We're not able to open up a specific file and bring you through the process, but we can get you started and help you understand better what you qualify for and point you in the right direction. So things that we can assist with: adult protective services, cash assistance, emergency food assistance programs, HIV, AIDS services administration facts, SNAP, supplemental nutritional assistance program, Medicaid or the Medicaid buy-in program. So all of this through HRA, or you can learn more about Social Security, SSI, SSDI, 1619B, and Medicare. Unfortunately, I don't have as extensive knowledge in this category to expand on these, but this is just a brief overview of the information and resources that our benefits coordinators can provide and assist you with. Next, we have employment. Employment, if you dial 212-788-2830, extension number 4, you'll be connected to our NYC at Work employment program, which is more than just information and referral. So you can visit nyc.gov/NYC@work for more information and to engage with this program. But I want to give you a brief explanation of what this is. So this is a public-private partnership that our office has set up to focus on employment for New Yorkers with disabilities. A principal definition of this program is that we work with job seekers with disabilities who are actively looking for work and connect them to our Business Development Council, which is basically a group of public and private businesses that are within the 5 boroughs actively hiring and looking for people with disabilities and connect them to these resources. Now, we offer a lot of things along the way. So first, we offer professional connections. These are employment opportunities within the Business Development Council. And the Business Development Council offers a variety, or has been offering a variety of positions. It's been a little bit more difficult with the pandemic, with everything that's going on, but still we are working on making connections with folks. But our Business Development Council works across all sectors, whether it be retail, finance, technology, human services, so on, cybersecurity, so on and so forth. We are looking for every opportunity possible to connect our job seekers with full-time jobs that not only are these jobs, but offer advancement opportunities. So it's not just a job, it can be a career based on your individual interest. We hold targeted recruitment events held by employers and provide you with access to these events. Now, we've had to move a lot of these online, but one of our biggest ones that comes to mind is during October of 2019, before everything shut down, we were still doing in-person events. We had a recruitment event that we held with Microsoft. We worked with a bunch of our Business Development Council members to put on a job fair where people were walking in the door, job seekers, with specific targeted tables in mind to sit down and actually interview for that job. We offer exploratory opportunities, so informational interviews for potential careers. So if you're looking to learn more about cybersecurity, learn more about retail, learn more about business, we can, if you are in our program, provide you with the opportunities to connect with these individuals. We offer career mentoring days, which is job shadowing, the ability to go with somebody to work. Definitions are going to be a little shuffled now in COVID of what job shadowing specifically means. Maybe it's job zooming, but those opportunities to see the day-to-day of a specific person, employee of one of our businesses. Professional development, we can provide feedback on relevant job applications, direct referrals to service providers. We do have a coalition of service providers that we work with, ranging from professional development at CUNY, like CUNY Leads, to Access VR and other disability-specific voc rehab organizations that we work with that have similar goals to us, as us. Job training opportunities in specific sectors. So we have in the past put together, in partnership with the Institute of Career Development and others, a job training, actually a full curriculum surrounding cybersecurity, which we call the Ability Academy, which was in tandem with Cisco. This program offered a Cisco cyber certification a Cisco certification in cybersecurity training, which is a very popular field, especially right now with things moving online. And individuals that were enrolled in the program went to ICD, were taught the curriculum at ICD, and then once this program was finalized, they received an official Cisco cyber certification. And then from there, we were providing them with those additional opportunities that I mentioned before to get connected with businesses that are looking to hire cybersecurity professionals. There are many other merits to the program, but that was something that we did in the past. Unsure of the future of that program, but just an example of the work that we have done and are looking to replicate. And employer-led skills workshops. This could range from resume building to online profile building, LinkedIn workshops, resume workshops, things like that. So all of this is within our NYC at Work program. So this program, we've done a lot of work to set it up. We work with our businesses to help them understand disability awareness, how to work with individuals with disabilities, how to make your workplace more accessible, how to make your communications more accessible, ranging from, the language that you use to the digital accessibility of your websites and your onboarding materials, things like that. But this is a program that, we're working with job seekers that are eager. We do as much work as we can one-on-one, but ultimately we are looking for job seekers that are driven to push themselves through the program and take advantage of these opportunities. So if you're interested in learning more about the program, if you're interested in being a part of the program, you can go online at nyc.gov/NYC at Work and fill out the job seeker contact form or the NYC at Work contact form. And one of our NYC at Work coordinators will reach out to you and get you started in the process.
Interesting
So
fact.
Mhm.
Interesting fact about the NYC at Work program. 2 of our board members, the United Spinal chapter, New York City chapter's board members actually are employees of that program. So if you decide to go to the NYC at Work program and you're chosen, happen to mention that the New York City chapter sent you and say hello to one of our board members.
Perfect plug. Thank you, Jose. So please reach out. It's a program. It's a program that we're very proud of, and we want to engage as many people as possible. So please reach out. So next, we have reached the end of the Rotary operation. I just want to talk a little bit more about additional programs that everyone might find interesting, and then we can open it up to questions. So EmpoweredNYC. EmpoweredNYC is a program that is through our office, the Department of Consumer Affairs and Workforce Protection, and it's also City with an I, which is like Citibank, CITI, Community Development Fund. We call them City with an I. It's free, trustworthy, confidential financial counseling for New Yorkers with disabilities. That's a mouthful. So it's financial counseling that's catered to you. It's confidential and it's trustworthy. It's not a stipend program, or there's no finance or funding coming out of it, but it's financial counseling. So we can assist you in getting a better understanding of your finances, reach your financial goals, and demystify some of the gray areas that unfortunately come with trying to navigate, let's say, transitioning from receiving SSI, SSDI, and transitioning into or back to work, because that can be a scary situation. You can only receive a certain amount of income before you lose your benefits. And then what if you lose the job? And that's a scary process. So we can assist you with managing that SSI and SSDI benefits. We can assist you with Social Security Administration overpayments, in addition to, as I mentioned before, transitioning to work. So this is for anybody, any person with a disability living in New York that wants to better, strategize their own financial goals, which could be, renting an apartment on your own, to buying a house, to just opening a bank account. Your goals are your goals, and EmpoweredNYC wants to help you get there. So if you want to learn more about EmpoweredNYC, you can call 311. You can also, this is just a fun general fact in general, you can also text 311. So whenever there's a call 311, you can also text 311, which is 311-692 for services, This could be because you don't like speaking on the phone. This could be because, you know, of your disability. It's just very helpful. 311692. If you text them, you'll be connected to a 311 person and ask about information. You can also visit nyc.gov/empowerednyc. That's nyc.gov/empowerednyc. So that is a little bit of information about the Empowered NYC program. ASL Direct, I mentioned this before, but that is, we have our ASL Direct program. You can call our video phone at 646-396-5830. And once again, you'll be connected to one of our ASL Direct coordinators. If you're joining us via Zoom and you're not calling in, you'll see one of our coordinators, Tony Wooden, who is the project supervisor for ASL Direct. He is deaf, and he comes to us with a lot of experience, and he's been a great person to work with, especially during the pandemic as we've been making these shifts. So it's video conferencing service. It's a video conferencing service that provides deaf New Yorkers information on NYC services in American Sign Language. In addition, we also, the ASL Direct program puts on additional programming. For example, there is information. We recently, a few weeks ago, had a conversation regarding interactions between deaf New Yorkers and the police department. So we had a discussion that was virtual, that was coordinated by ASL Direct. We had a deaf town hall, specifically a deaf town hall, a few months ago. We've actually done 2 at this point. So we are actively looking to reach out to the deaf community and engage them, and that comes through our ASL Direct program. In addition, yes, so there's that. In addition to our ASL Direct program coming out of our office, there is an additional ASL Direct person in a separate agency that I'd like to mention now, which is Department of Social Services. So if you're interested in MOPD information in ASL, you can call the video phone, so on and so forth. But if you want to learn more about the ASL Direct person for social services, you can visit nyc.gov/ASL, and we have additional information on how you can get in contact with them. I'm realizing as I'm speaking that this should be on the PowerPoint, considering it is a part of the program. So I'm just going to go ahead and visit the site myself and read out this information so it's all in one place. My apologies for the delay. So yes, for the video phone number for ASL Direct at Department of Social Services, it is 347-474-4231. Once again, that is 347-474-4231. And that is the ASL Direct person who you'll be connected to via video phone through the Department of Social Services. They also have a voice phone, just for information if you want to learn more and possibly work with them. I'm going to read that out as well. Once again, this is not the video phone, this is voice, 718-262-3608. Once again, that is 718-262-3608. That is the voice phone for Department of Social Services ASL Direct program. All of that information that I just read is available on our website at nyc.gov/ASL, nyc.gov/ASL. And finally, I want to talk about the Disability Service Facilitator program. Now, our office, as I mentioned, works to ensure equal access to everything the city has to offer. We work with city agencies, we work with public and private partners, so on and so forth. But our office does not need to be the only outlet that you have in city government. In 2016, there was a local law that was passed mandating that every city agency have what's called a Disability Service Facilitator. A Disability Service Facilitator is the liaison between a city agency and the disability community. There is a Disability Service Facilitator for just about every city agency. For the mayor's office, we have, it's our contact, Noelle Haight, who is our Disability Service Facilitator that is in charge of other mayoral offices. But for city agencies, like for example, Department of Transportation, Housing Preservation and Development, NYPD, Human Rights, so on and so forth, every one of those agencies has a disability-specific point of contact that is also responsible for ensuring and working on accessibility and inclusion of people with disabilities for their specific city agency. If you're interested in learning more, in addition to access a full contact list of those disability service facilitators, you can visit nyc.gov/DSF, as in Disability Service Facilitator. That's nyc.gov/DSF for a full list of contacts for disability service facilitators. And with that, that concludes this presentation. That was an overview of some of the direct services, or I believe, the direct services that our office provides. We do a lot of other work behind the scenes. We have a digital accessibility coordinator who's responsible for ensuring the digital accessibility of our websites. Wale Sabri, I work with him closely to present to other city agencies and members of the public on how they can make their materials more accessible. We have, we do a lot of community outreach, as I mentioned earlier. We've been doing a lot of that, especially during COVID, as we've moved to a virtual space that folks can join. We have what is a monthly COVID call that I put it in the chat earlier. And Jose, I encourage you to send out the registration link. If you can't make it tomorrow, that's okay. We are doing it the first Friday of every month at 1 p.m. And basically the layout of these meetings are, we have representation from our office, MOPD, typically it's Commissioner Khaleesi. We have the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, Emergency Management, and HRA, just provide updates on what's going on with the city. And then we turn it over to the community to understand what are, for questions, for concerns, what are the issues, what are things that we're not recognizing that need to change in COVID relief, COVID response, of course, vaccines, which is a whole other conversation, which you can ask questions about now, and I'm happy to address as best I'm able to, but we're here, and we encourage you to reach out to us for information, for guidance, for resources, for questions. You can use all the contact information, but for myself specifically, you can contact me at Jonathon Novick, and that is jnovick@cityhall.nyc.gov. And I'm gonna do a quick little edit here, so sorry, just because I have a different number. That's jnovick@cityhall.nyc.gov. And you can give me a call at 212-788-2856. That's 212-788-2856. I encourage you to use email if possible. That's a little bit more reliable for me. I answer my phone as much as possible, but especially since working remotely, it's been a little bit more difficult. But please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions on anything we said, constituent concerns, program concerns, or anything. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Jose to address questions, so on and so forth.
And we have a few of them. I just want to say, I'm always impressed by you speaking. You're very well spoken. So we do have a few questions.
I've been talking a whole lot, so I guess I'm getting pretty good at it. So that's got to count for something.
Voice too. You're so comforting.
I'm available to read, I suppose, to read your book for audiobooks if anybody is looking for voice talent while we are in this pandemic. But yes, please, let's do questions.
A side gig. So we have a question from Melanka. Will you also be providing the names and emails of the staff of MOPD for each department with this presentation?
So I recommend the phone number outlets are the best way of reaching them, because it's sort of, we have different coordinators doing different things. So these phone numbers are actually laced with more than one person. So it's a little bit easier to go through these channels, because if we start to spread it out, it's going to be more difficult and it's more likely folks fall through the cracks. But I encourage you to call our main line, call me, email me. In addition, on our website, we have a form that is managed by our office administrator, Asma. It's in addition to Commissioner Khaleesi, it's an email the commissioner form. It is extremely helpful for us because it goes into a system, gets routed immediately to the right person. by somebody who understands, the office layout and who will be able to best address this. So I think the information that I provided is the best way for you to get in contact with us.
The following question is, can you please explain a bit of what SSI overpayments are?
I can, to a degree. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I am fully knowledgeable enough about this to confidently speak about it. I can only speculate. Jose, do you have anything? I feel like you might, or Jessica, do you have more insight onto this?
Well, overpayment occurs when you receive money, whether it be gifted or working, that count towards your assets, and they find out about it, and the calculation wasn't done, and they overpaid you. So you're supposed to get a fixed amount of money each month. If you go over that amount of money, they do a calculation and they subtract that from your total balance. But MOPD has a wonderful person that works there in their NYC at Work program. Not NYC at Work, EmpoweredNYC, who is Christopher Rivera, who can better assist in explaining that. If you want to go back to that slide with the Empower, so that they can get
Yes.
the information. Is there a phone number for?
Absolutely. So if I don't know if I don't want to give out her number without talking to her first, although I feel like she would probably be fine with it. For now, just email me and ask for Crystal and I can connect you. Let's go with that, especially just because this is going to be recorded. I don't want to put her out there without talking to her first.
Absolutely.
But we do have Crystal Rivera, and she is fantastic, especially regarding this specific topic. She frequently was working at Consumer Affairs. Now she's with us. She's incredible, extremely knowledgeable, and very helpful, and always eager to help, quite frankly. So,
and we might actually ask her to do a presentation for us again this year.
All right.
On this very same topic, benefits.
It's funny because EmpoweredNYC is housed out of it's primarily housed in Consumer Affairs and also in MOPD. Like, we are a part of it. So previously, before COVID, BC, when we were going to these physical outreach events, I would always see Crystal and we were handing out the exact same flyer, and it would just be like, like, there you are. Like, of course you're out here. She's fantastic.
She is. The next question is, what would happen to MOPD if a less progressive mayor was elected?
Well, our office, like I said, has been around since 1973. We wouldn't really go anywhere. A lot of city government really is just, I don't want to say on autopilot, but there's so many hardworking people who have been here through administrations. It's not like when a new mayor is elected, everyone gets up and leaves and everybody comes in brand new. There are some people that are appointed. For example, commissioners and directors of agencies have the option and the ability to be reappointed. For example, Commissioner Khaleesi, Victor Khaleesi, he came on during the Bloomberg administration. Unfortunately, the commissioner before him, Matt Saplin, passed away. So there needed to be an interim commissioner that was appointed. That was done by Bloomberg, and they appointed Commissioner Khaleesi. After Bloomberg's term ended and Mayor de Blasio was reelected, Commissioner Khaleesi was reappointed, basically, more officially, no longer on an interim position. It's possible that could happen again. I'm unsure, we'll see what happens with the next election process. But for the most part, there are many staff members that continue to work on a lot of these programs that have been around to keep the city running. It's going to be a little bit different flavor each time. Each administration has different priorities, a different stamp that they'd like to leave. But I can't really speak to any great changes that would happen.
So we have one more question, and I believe this would be also for EmpoweredNYC. Do you do a benefits checkup, or should I speak to New York City Connect or a local independent living center?
I think you could reach out to any of those. You could reach out to an independent living center or to New York Connects, but you could also reach out to Empowered NYC. I think that would be the best outlet for you.
All right. With no more questions, I am going to thank Jonathon for joining us. Hold on. Thank you for the reply when. I'm not sure how that question is. It says, thank you for replying. When will they be accepting new applicants? Not sure what that
Empowered
means.
NYC?
I don't know if
Bill?
it's empowered.
Bill, can you confirm, is that Empowered NYC for CURB?
Curb.
Oh,
The CURB program is in kind of a transition phase. They're going to open it up to more participants with the new, I guess, chief accessibility officer. It also might be changing. So the only thing I can tell you is stay informed and sign up for our emails, and maybe we can provide that information. You can also go over to our Facebook page where we post a lot of those changes on our Facebook newsfeed. So with that, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Jonathon.
Because of my noise, read what Betty said. She says it.
Betty?
All right, you don't hear no drilling. Do you hear drilling? I'm sorry, y'all. I
No.
have construction going on. That's why I haven't said much of anything. But Betty says, I thank everyone for the valuable information and plan to use the emails that were posted. However, I would like to pivot a bit from questions of the informative presenter to ask members of the disability community about being advocates for change via their local community boards. I have found that being active in mine has put a face and a voice to issues that have affected both the issues addressed and the opinions that go forward to our elected officials and city departments. I'm sorry I said that fast, Mary.
Betty.
No, for Mary to sign.
Oh, for Mary. Betty, thank you. That's very, very, very important. As individuals with disabilities, we definitely need to advocate, and very important to advocate when it comes to community boards. Not enough of us are on them or are discouraged or discriminated against when we try to join them. I have faced that myself, and I'm actually facing that now with my own community board, but I am advocating for certain changes so I am able to attend their meetings. So please, if you have any issues with your community board and having access issues, you can contact me, you can contact Jonathon, and we will put you in contact with the appropriate individuals when it comes to those access issues.
They encouraged me to join mine too, because I mean, it really does put a face. So.
and
Yeah,
I would just like to point out that I just put a link actually for those of you joining via Zoom on CAU, which is the Community, I've lost my mind for acronyms for the day, I think. Community Affairs Unit, the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit. There is a search engine where you can put in your address and if you don't know your community board, that's okay. But go, take a look. You don't have to necessarily be a member to attend meetings. It depends on the specific meeting, but you can still engage. You can still be a part of the conversation and remind people of the nearly 1 million people with disabilities living in New York City that need access to programming, to resources, and so on and so forth. So we definitely encourage you to be a part of that.
Yep, no, absolutely. It's very important. Even without being a member, you can make effective changes in your own community through participatory budgeting. If your city council member participates in it, and it's done all through voting through the community boards. So they have funding for a school or a list of projects, and you feel more passionate about one or another, you can actually vote for that. And if that project is chosen, it will be funded. So, and the votes are so small that sometimes it comes to a very few number of votes. So your voice is actually heard when you're voting in those. But yep. Again, I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's great information. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for everyone who was attended. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Mary.
Jonathan, it was good to hear your voice again. I'll listen to you tomorrow too.
Happy to be heard, and I hope I see more folks tomorrow. So please join the conversation. You know, ask questions, take the resources we provide, and go wild with them.
Yep.
Share them.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye.